I'm gonna cry because it alters your life in ways you can't imagine. I'm calling this video Dying with Fibromyalgia, and I hope people who have fibromyalgia and those who don't will understand what that's really about. It's just trying to make the best of your life, and knowing that this is a very devastating thing to live with, and there's days when you just don't feel like you're living anymore. All right, one of the problems with having fibromyalgia is talking, and usually around 3:30 is like my magic hour in the afternoon. I totally lose my ability to make a sentence. So you're going to hear that a lot in my vlogs, that I will just not be able to say a word or use the wrong word, and that's very common. And the most frustrating part about fibromyalgia is when you talk to a doctor or when you talk to anyone about it, they'll say, oh, well, you're just getting old. I've had this for 15 years. I would really like to think 42 wasn't old, but I was around 42 years old when I injured my shoulder. At that time, I was working out. I was in good shape. I was going to workout classes in the mornings, and doing some weight training in that, and machine work in the afternoon. I mean, after that class, so you can't talk now. So I was doing a lot of things to keep in really good shape. No fibromyalgia that I knew of, but I would get really sore, obviously, and it was so painful. I was helping a friend move an antique mirror across her spinning piano. And it was about a 1/4 inch thick glass, I kid you not, with a big ornate frame. And it probably, well, it took two of us. And she also worked out. We were both really strong. We thought we were. Well, we moved it from from over the piano in one house. We drove it to her new house, and we went to hang it up on the wall of the new house, and the wire broke. And I caught it. I caught the brunt of this. It was probably 100 pounds or less, who knows, but it just didn't feel like that at the time. And when it happened, it felt like an electric shock went through my body. It literally felt like I stuck a knife in a light socket. And I was in so much pain. In the course of doing that, I tore my, gosh, I can't think of all the things. I tore muscles. I tore my rhomboid. I'm totally wrecked. This shoulder to my neck, and when I did it, like pulled my neck. It practically broke my neck. It's crazy. And then and also kind of in the course of it, I already had some arthritis in my spine, and so I had been working out for that purpose, to really strengthen my core, so that my arthritis that I'd started developing like in my late 30s, early 40s, from an injury actually. I rode horses, and I fell off a few horses in my life, and my back was never quite right. Plus I was very limber as a young person, did a lot of back bends. I don't know if that affected it, did a lot of stuff like that, but yeah, that it didn't help that part either. So I did physical therapy. I did a lot of work to recover from that, exercises and fun stuff like that, painful physical therapy. And I just noticed I wasn't feeling good. I just did not ever come out of that pain. And in talking to doctors, I wasn't very clear. I could not take pain medicine. I suffer severely from migraines, and I also suffer a lot from reactions to medicine. And the reason I brought the migraines is because I woke up with one this morning and it was horrible, and so I've taken some migraine medicine. Maybe why I'm just a little loopy, because I do have terrible side effects from medication. I joined a group on Facebook, and I've noticed people will post up some of their symptoms, and it's kind of weird because some people have symptoms you've never heard of, and when you see what they're going through, you're like, oh my gosh, please don't let it get this bad. But the biggest thing was, other than not being able to talk, and just the typical symptoms, people talked about not being able to take medication properly. We reacted to the medicine in the bad way. If it said cause blurry vision, weight gain. I'll put a list of all the things that normal people get when they have fibromyalgia. When I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they ran tests. First of all, they ran a test on to see if I had lupus. They ran, of course, the MS test, because you have all the symptoms of someone who's suffering from multiple sclerosis. They also ran, oh my gosh, Epstein-Barr and all these other things. Basically a ruling out process. They tried all this stuff, and then they push you on your little pressure points. They hurt, and I have pressed the pressure points on my husband. He goes, yeah, that's uncomfortable. I see why that would be a pressure point, but it's to the point where somebody touches you, it was like that shoulder injury all over again. It was like, you know, that electrical, don't touch me there. I have tried the little, you know, electronic devices. I have tried, I'm on a heating pad almost every night. I have this thing at home. It's like laying on a bed of nails, and it actually, in a weird way, works because it overstimulates your nerves. It hurts to be on it, but you get so overstimulated, it's like you do get a break. And it's usually something I have to do when I get up in the morning, and if I'm having a really bad day like I'm having today, I would get on that thing and it would at least get me out of bed, because after being on it for about 30 minutes, you're ready to get off. But I have actually fallen asleep on it and slept for 2 hours, so who knows. Anyway, I've tried all these remedies other than medication. I tried natural, holistic ways of fixing it when I first got it. First of all, I denied it. I absolutely denied it. I am strong. I am healthy. Why is this happening to me? I'm going to cry. Because it alters your life in ways you can't imagine. Sorry, I didn't mean to do this. I think it's the medicine. I'm overreacting because I'm like migraine medicine. But I am a very easy to cry person. I have to tell you a little bit about myself. I have 3 college degrees. I have a business degree, it's an associate's degree, and I just wanted to get some good business background because I always saw myself going into business. I have an art degree in general studies because I love all art and I really couldn't pick what I wanted to do. So that gave me an opportunity just to take whatever I wanted. And I was so glad I did, because I did go back and I got a degree in art education. And I love it because I know a lot about a lot of different art. And I'm hoping in my vlogs to introduce you to just some fun stuff. And I'm a teacher. I taught. And I decided to stay home and raise kids. But I taught art in my own studios, and I taught in other venues that allow teachers to come in. Now, I'm not talking painting with a twist. No offense. I love that stuff. It's really cute. It's a lot of fun. I'm talking teaching people how to improve their art, how to grow as an artist. All of a sudden, to not be able to talk and to wake up feeling horrible just wasn't working for me. It really killed my ability to do the jobs that I wanted to do. Well, the other bad part, and I think was a side effect of having the fibromyalgia, they always talk about depression. And yes, I have suffered from depression. I have a chemical imbalance. I totally get what they mean by that. I avoid alcohols. I have learned to avoid food, anything that can cause a reaction to your mood. And it would be like salty foods, a lot of bread, which I've been eating a lot of lately. Anything with additives in it. MSG, killer. I mean, I will tell you right now, I don't have to know it has MSG in it. I will get the MSG headache. Artificial sweeteners, I don't have to know it has it. It does have less of an effect drinking something like coffee with sugar versus having something that has the sweetener, because I'm telling you, I get a headache. My experiences with fibromyalgia, I think, took my hoarding to a new level. I've always loved collecting. I was one of those kids when, you know, you had the Kittles, and when you were little, the little Kittles, hey, you know how old I am now, they would send this, that's like a little booklet that came with them, and then it would show all the different Kittles, and you would want all of them. So I think they fed that into our age group is when they were really pushing theme toys like Kittles, like Barbies, that they really said, okay, you got this, now you really need to get this too. Oh, and you're not complete unless you have this and this and this. And you would be so happy when you would get your new Kittle, because it was one of those you could check off. And so I know what that feeling was like. I know where that came from. Anyway, getting back to being the hoarding. I did start to notice just a really decline in my waves. This is when I discovered I was suffering from depression, because I was depressed because my situation was depressing, first of all. It wasn't what I planned for my life, and of course life happens, right? So I did notice the dips and the falls, and I did get counseling. I'm all about it. I know what it is. I understand what I'm going through. I know what I'm getting down, and I did look for ways. I looked for the good things that made me happy and helped build up, but that was the drug. It was finding the things that make you feel better. Like my kids were growing up, I would go to flea markets, I would go to garage sales or thrift stores, and I would just buy, and this is where it starts getting crazy. If you had one let's say Fisher-Price minifigs, the little plastic guys that were this big, and the little play sets, I had to have them all. I had to have them all. That is part of the whole collector thing that was kind of implanted somewhere in my brain by advertising early, as a child, and getting the little booklets that said, check this, you want to have all these little kittles. So, blame Mattel. My husband's a really nice guy in that I think he gets a lot of joy out of buying stuff for his kids, or seeing me happy or whatever. So he would go on some of these shopping sprees where we were looking for things. Thank God eBay came around, because when eBay first started, it was crazy. People were so excited to have it. They would really get into bidding wars, and you would sell stuff for a lot of money. You can't get that fixed today that you could back in the day. This was Beanie Babies, and I didn't do the whole Beanie Baby time, but my friend did. She would go and just load up on all the Beanie Babies and then turn around and sell them and make tons of money, because people were, going nuts over that. So that kind of hooked me, because I was like, wow, I can get rid of my kids' toys that they don't play with anymore, the smaller things, and that's kind of what got me started. It was also a very good outlet for me, because I would be home, and then on Saturday when my husband would be home, I would be up first thing in the morning, hitting sales, hitting garage sales, and I would come home so happy and would list them immediately, and then I would make money by the next week, because they would sell. It was also a very difficult time for eBay, because eBay was fixing a lot of glitches, and I'm talking dial-up here. It was very frustrating from that standpoint. Crashing, you took all these, you loaded up all this stuff, and now it was gone. So fun stuff like that. So I stuck with it. Now, let's get back to fibromyalgia. Now that I've given you a really clear definition of how crazy I am. You take that somewhere in this part of my brain that says, this makes you happy, do this. Why I call myself the happy hoarder is because I totally get it. I watch those shows about the people who are hoarding. I know what that rush is like. It is a drug. It is a drug just like gambling is an addiction. But there is a high that you get from being a shopaholic, from being an alcoholic, from being a drug user, from anything. You get that fix, and you want that fix, and that's getting stuff. So, happy hoarder? I'm a happy hoarder because it does make me happy to get stuff. I do get the endorphins from shopping and finding good things, and it makes me happy. I enjoy playing with my toys. It makes me feel better, and it gives me something to do, if nothing else, to get my mind off of the rest of this world crashing down around me. Not being able to talk is really hard. I mean, I know I'm doing a lot of talking now, but life is not edited. I can edit this down and get rid of all the crazy things that I've already said. So I'm just hoping that my vlogs kind of help people understand that living with fibromyalgia is a difficult life. It does make you do things that are probably not something you would do on a regular basis. Taking medication does have side effects, and to me, Wellbutrin or bupropion in this case, I feel like the side effect of doing shopping, I think my highs got a little bit higher, and I felt so good when I would find things. I'd be so happy, and even people I run into, it really heals when I've got like a good stash of stuff in my cart. They see how happy I am. I mean, they know. And let me tell you, the other thing is, I shop at this place on a regular basis, and there is this group of people that are my friends now, because we all do it. And I look at them and I know why they're doing it. I know what's going on. It fills that void. There is a void in our lives. And you wish you could find something more positive to fill it with. And that is why I decided to start vlogging. I wanted it to be positive. I wanted something else in my life that maybe, instead of coming as they bring home my haul, to just the joy of getting rid of stuff. And I want that to be a new chapter in my life of being able to sell things, and that way I don't feel the guilt of having spent the money. But I guarantee you, the money that I spend supports this wonderful ministry for disaster relief. And if you know of anything in Louisiana lately, we have had our share of disasters. I don't feel guilty about going and spending $40 there or $20 there, and I know all the money's going to a good cause. So no guilt there. I don't want to have trouble giving it back. But I do give back a lot of stuff. I fill that basket, and we take it, well, probably once a month. I should do it like once a week. But I do try to give back. I call it giving back to God. I feel like everything I have is a gift from God. And so giving it back, giving my basket full of stuff back is definitely, my giving it back to God and being grateful. It's kind of like taking your stuff so that you can thank you for doing the service for me. I thank God for this stuff. I already did. I didn't think about writing a book about it, but I do. When I give up stuff, I am giving it back to God. I'm giving it back with a very positive attitude that I know that this will serve a service for someone else. That is where the whole hoarding probably is in control. I can let go of things, but I can't stop buying things. The buying is the biggest problem. And I feel guilty because I know I spend a lot of money. I try to spend the money I make on this. My husband points out, now you're probably doing it about 50%. So money you make, the other 50 is coming out of, American Express. So anyway, I just want people who suffer from fibromyalgia see what someone else is going through. Life's not perfect, but you can find some joy in your life. And you can find some happiness in something other than spending money. Tone it down. I find happiness in my dog. Okay. Oh my gosh! You see what she's doing? She's splooting over here, right, half on her bed, half on the. Oh, by the way, I'm in a hotel, but I have a down comforter, and that's what she's on because I'm that kind of person. I'm not gonna be rude and let my dog just sleep on the bed. She's actually sleeping between her own bed and my down comforter, which she sleeps on most of the time at home. Anyway, so that's my life. And so I hope you follow me, and I really do. And if you have fibromyalgia, post some comments, and give me some things to talk about, and tell me what's going on in your life, because I know the pain, and tell me what your fix is, and if it's a problem, and if that's something you need to work on, talk about it. Don't hesitate to talk. Look inside yourself and go, why am I doing this? Why do I get such a high off of doing this? It's because the lows of fibromyalgia are so bad, so depressing, life-altering, just not what you want to live through. And until they find something that fixes it, I have known pain my entire life, between the migraines I've suffered since I was a teenager and the mouth ulcers. And now I have this. Finding a doctor that knows anything about fibromyalgia is impossible in my town. They look at me like, what are you talking about? And it's all in your head, which makes me so mad because I have proof that it's not in my head. I know what's in my head, and this isn't it. I mean, this is for real. You don't have something in your head and it wakes you up at 5 o'clock in the morning with searing pain. That is not in your head. You're sleeping. How could that be in your head? Anyway, please like, subscribe. Let's talk about fibromyalgia, and let's talk about hoarding, and let's talk about buying really fun toys and why these are so much fun. You hear something railing around, broke off in there. But finding things that give us joy and helps us through this time in our life, and hopefully at no expense to someone else or no harm to someone else. So let's make this a thing.